Town, Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padres gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, they.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Friars pregame show for September 2nd, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Padres and the Dodgers, they are back at it tonight. Feels like it's been forever since the Padres played the Dodgers last. And that's probably why it's probably because a ton of things have happened since then. And because it left such a bad taste in our mouths. You know, the Padres got swept by the Dodgers. They didn't look anywhere near the Dodgers level. And so I'm happy that the Padres get another chance, another crack at the Dodgers today. And not just today, tomorrow and Sunday, they get another Sunday night baseball against them as well. And the Padres offense, if I remember correctly, they're going into this series better, firing on more cylinders, if that makes sense, than they were the last time the Padres faced the Dodgers. So I'm really interested to see how this series plays out, especially offensively. Obviously, tomorrow it's going to be interesting to see how Sean Manaea does, but we'll get to tomorrow when we get to tomorrow. If you missed it, episode 225 is out about Manny Machado, NL MVP update. Gave my thoughts a little bit on Matt Beatty being called up and Reese Kinnear also being called up. Those were the two Padres call-ups, the 27th and 28th guys on the roster, because now that it is September, rosters expanded from 26 to 28 guys. I was surprised a little bit by the Matt Beatty move. I thought it might have been Cam Gallagher. But, looking back, or when I was talking through it on the episode, available on podcast platforms and on this YouTube channel, by the way, when I was looking back on it, talking through it, I was like, well, no, they could use him off the bench as a lefty bat. They want a Zokar to pinch run in some situations. It also, I guess, doesn't hurt to have another lefty on the bench. I know Beatty doesn't provide a whole lot of power, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have another lefty on the bench. I don't expect him to play much, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And Reese Kinnear, I think what we should be interested with him, at least, in this Dodger series, when will he pitch? Is he going to pitch tomorrow? Right after Sean Manaea, kind of piggyback him there? Or is he going to pitch today? Are they just putting him in there because they want him more than Jose Castillo on the roster because of, the multi-inning stuff? Now, Pierce Johnson's probably going to be activated, I would think, during this Dodger series this weekend. He's been looking good in AAA. He struck out all three batters he faced in his last appearance, I believe, a couple nights ago. So if he gets called up, do they send Kinnear back down, or is it Steven Wilson that they send down? Because I think it would be weird to call up Reese Kinnear for multiple innings if you're just going to bring Pierce Johnson up and just send Kinnear back down. So maybe they send down someone else other than Kinnear when Pierce Johnson gets activated. So those are just some quick couple thoughts right out of the gate here. Padres, Dodgers, 7:10's the first pitch. It's not at 6:40 like Padre games are. It's not at 6:45 like those Giants games, those night games were. Dodgers, for some reason, they still like those 7:10 games. It is a Friday, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But the Dodgers are 90-40, looking for their 91st win on the year. Padres are 73-59. They technically have that 4-game advantage over Milwaukee because they have the tiebreaker, the regular season tiebreaker. They're 3 games up in the standings. So it's good news that they still have a little bit of a gap. But, what if Milwaukee goes and sweeps whoever they're playing this weekend? Let me check who they're playing. They go sweep that series and the Padres get swept. Well, that's bad. That's really bad news, Milwaukee's playing in Arizona. They lost last night. They lost last night. That's a mouthful. To Arizona. So Padres gained a half a game. So that's good. And then the Phillies play the Giants on Apple TV Plus tonight. And the Padres, I believe, are a half game back of Philadelphia for the second wild card right now. Pitching matchup for tonight, Yu Darvish and Dustin May. By the way, if you want to support the channel, you can use the super chat button. You can also use the super thanks button. In regular videos, if you have any thoughts, want to make sure I get that up on the screen, use that super chat button. I'll try to get to all the comments, all the questions anyway. But if the comments get crowded at any point, it's good to stand out that way. Gabe here says, I usually watch on replay because of school. Glad I could catch this one live. Cool. Yeah, what's up, Gabe? Yeah, just talking some Padres and some Dodgers. Darvish has a 3.41 ERA entering today. Dustin May, a 1.64 ERA. We will get to the lineups in a little bit. Kind of weird with the Dodgers. What's happening there? There's a couple regulars that are not in their lineup tonight, which should be good news for the Padres, but the Dodgers always seem to have depth regardless of what position we're talking about. So maybe it's not really news at all. I don't know. Yu Darvish, last time out, 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 6, walked 2. That was against the Royals. Remember, he had a tough start to the outing, and then he settled down. He usually has, whenever he is struggling, it's usually the beginning of his starts where he struggles. So if he can not struggle, and if he can have an easy first, second inning, I think that really sets up well for him and the Padres for Darvish to go have a quality start, go 6 innings, and give up less than 3 runs. I know the Royals are not as talented, obviously, as the Dodgers lineup, but he was able to settle down after that first inning. A big key, what to watch for today, is how Darvish starts. Literally, I know he's the starter. How does he start his start? Those first 2 innings. And Dustin May, he just came back. Remember, he had Tommy John, just came back. August 20th against Miami, 5 innings, no runs. August 27th at Miami. First one was against Miami at home. Then his last one, August 27th at Miami. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, walked only 1 guy. He's given the Padres some fits in the past. He throws gas. I think the 2-seamer, I think, is his best pitch. I want to see let me look up his career numbers against the Padres. Scrolling down here. Hang on. Against the Padres, he has a 2.72 ERA. It's actually not as good as I thought. It's still a good ERA, but I thought it would have been better. He's given up 5 home runs against the Padres so far in his career. That's 5 starts, 8 games. And the Padres bullpen situation, there's obviously not a whole lot to talk about, but I post that bullpen chart at Talking Friars on Twitter every day before every game. And they had the off day yesterday, so it doesn't really matter how many pitches anyone else threw on, when was that, Wednesday? Hader, he would be available, 14 pitches. Obviously, the big question with the bullpen is it going to be Hader closing? Is it going to be Nick Martinez closing? I personally would go with Nick Martinez, but maybe let me say this. Let me change that. I'd go with Nick Martinez in the highest leverage situation. So let's say it's the 8th inning, right? And Betts, Freeman, and Smith are up, right? Will Smith. I would go probably Martinez there. I think his changeup definitely plays well against like Freddie Freeman. Don't think he's going to be able to do a whole lot against that. But if there's no like high leverage situation until like the 9th inning, then they go Nick Martinez in the 9th. I think if they go Martinez earlier than that, then yeah, that opens up Hader for the 9th to get the save. But yeah, everyone's rested. Hader, Garcia, Martinez, Hill, Chris Matt, Morahone, Wilson, Suarez, Kinnear. Again, Pierce Johnson's, I would think, would get called up at some point during this series. Let me check Twitter real quick. I just want to make sure that nothing's happened yet. Okay, no, I don't see any bullpen moves yet. If this is on replay, I apologize. I'm just going along live here, just making sure that no move with the bullpen or anything has been made. But yeah, everyone's probably available. And obviously the big thing, I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Hader pitches the ninth inning in a save situation. Obviously, that's easier said than done. The Padres have to get to that save situation before we should really be talking about it. But since they got swept the last time they played the Dodgers in LA, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hader goes the ninth inning. I would still go with Nick Martinez. I would go with Hader in maybe an earlier inning. That's just me. But because I don't think Hader's totally back. I think Hader's definitely going to close at some point in this month. It could be by the end of this weekend. But I would still take it a little slow with him there. I'd go Martinez because Martinez is rested. Wednesday, Martinez didn't close because he wasn't available. He pitched back-to-back days, pitched multiple innings in one of the games. He wasn't available, so that's why they went with Hader. So Martinez available now. It's more of a intriguing question because both guys are available to pitch. Padre pick today. I'm going to go with Jake Cronenworth. He is batting fifth in the lineup. I almost said sixth. He's batting fifth, playing second base. He's hitting I saw this somewhere. He's hitting 375 off of Dustin May in his career. And Dustin May's tough, so I just went strictly with the matchups. And Croney, I feel like he's on a hitting streak. I think he's definitely on an on-base streak. So I'm going to go with him. I went with Josh Bell. The last game, he did not get a hit. So I'm 82-45 this season in my pregame show Padre pick. I'm checking on this Jake Cronenworth thing that I just mentioned, the on-base streak. Okay, no, I was right about the hit streak. He has a 4-game hitting streak right now. He's gotten a hit in 7 of his last 8 games, so that's good. He did not get on base on August 27th. He's gotten on base in his last 4 games, a hit in his last 4 games. So yeah, he does have that streak. So I'm going to go with Jake today. Padres lineup is out. Dodgers lineup is out, although there's been some updates to it. Let's start with the Padres. Profar's leading off. He's in left field. There's some people that are like, okay, why is Profar leading off? Well, look at the matchups. It's something Kim should be leading off. I understand that. I like Kim as the leadoff hitter. But with Dustin May up there, that's right out of the gate. They're stacking it with lefties because Profar's a switch hitter, so he's a lefty against May. They're going to go lefty, Profar, Soto. And then Manny, Bell DHing, so Drury's at first, batting sixth, right behind Croney, who's at second. Grish is in center, Kim's at short, Nola is catching. I have no complaints about this lineup. Obviously, like I just mentioned, leadoff hitter. I guess some people are going to want to question that. I'm fine with that. And then on the bench, you got Beatty, Camposano, Myers. Myers isn't playing. Zokar. So that's what you got on the bench. For the Dodgers, Mookie Betts is leading off. So no Trey Turner. That's what I've noticed. No Gavin Lux either. He was initially in the lineup, and he got scratched. I don't know why. I should probably look that up. Trying to see. I don't see the update on Lux. Yeah, the Dodgers, they didn't tweet why Lux is out. All they did was just quote tweet their regular lineup and say updated lineup without Lux in it. Lux was supposed to be at shortstop, batting sixth, but instead, Hanser Alberto will be at shortstop. He's batting ninth. So Betts is in right. Freddie Freeman's at first base. Will Smith is catching. Muncie's DHing. Wow. He's got 16 home runs, hitting 184 this year, so kind of like a Trent Grisham year. Like, he's having some impact for him, but average isn't great. Justin Turner's at third base, batting fifth. Joey Gallo's in left field. He's been playing much better with the Dodgers compared to when he was playing with the Yankees. He was trash with the Yankees. Chris Taylor's at second base, batting seventh. Cody Bellinger's in center, batting eighth. And then, like I said, Hanser Alberto is at shortstop, batting ninth. So Padres get a break. No Trey Turner and no Gavin Lux. They're middle of the diamond there. Shortstop and second base. Double play combo. Not in the lineup. Trey Turner usually Betts leads off sometimes. Trey Turner, I think he was hitting second the last time the Padres played the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. So good news for the Padres. You obviously don't like injuries, but hey, that the Dodgers are not as good, it would seem, lineup-wise, when they don't have Trey Turner and Gavin Lux in there, obviously. Let's get to some comments here. Again, Darvish and May is the pitching matchup. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. 7:10 is the first pitch. Milwaukee, who's chasing the Padres, they're playing in Arizona tonight at 6:40, so about a half hour before the Padre-Dodger game gets going. They get going. The Phillies playing San Francisco at 7:15. Wow, that's a late start. It is the Apple TV Plus game. Yeah, I agree, Anthony. Today's going to be a good one. Tonight's going to be a good one. Seems like a good pitching matchup. Again, just hope that Darvish doesn't have that slow start. Out of the gate, he's not giving up a few runs. Because it's different, right? You give up a few runs to the Royals, okay. But you give up a few runs to the Dodgers, and they have Dustin May on the mound, that might be tough to come back from. Don't go into it like this. Have a feeling the Pod's about to get shut out. Don't go into it that feeling. Come on. Let's be a little optimistic here. I know I said on the radio, if you guys were listening with John and Jim yesterday, they asked me what I would take in this Dodger series. I said I'd take one game. Don't get swept, right? Make progress. And so, yeah, I guess that's a loser mentality. But I think they're going to score some runs tonight. Dodgers should probably be the favorites in this game. I think the Padres can win tonight, though. With Darvish on the mound, the offense looking better. I think they can win Sunday night, definitely, with Clev on the mound. I think tomorrow, obviously, when you have Shamanai on the mound. Now, baseball's baseball, right? Shamanai might just go out there tomorrow and go 7 shutout innings for all we care, for all we know, That's baseball. A lot of people weren't expecting Josh Hader to go get that save the other night, right? But that happened. So I'm optimistic in this year. I think they're going to compete with the Dodgers. With that said, I don't think they're going to win the series, but I definitely don't think they're going to get swept. I think they'll win tonight or Sunday. Hopefully both. Trevor asked, do you think Austin Reilly shakes things up for the MVP race? He's another interesting one. Yeah, so on my episode earlier today about the MVP stuff, I mentioned Goldschmidt, I mentioned Arenado, I mentioned Manny, and then I also kind of mentioned Mookie, but I said that I don't think he's an MVP. You have so much talent on the Dodgers. Like, you take him out of the lineup, they're still winning the division by a lot, That's not an MVP. But Austin Reilly, he's 10th in Major League Baseball in F-WAR. Among the National League, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 8th. His own teammate, Dansby Swanson, has a higher F-WAR than he does. I know Reilly has way more home runs and all that, more RBIs, but I don't think he's going to be an MVP finalist. I mean, the season, we still got a month plus left, obviously, so he could shake it up. I don't think he's going to, if he has a hot month, I don't think that still is enough to win him the MVP. I know this is simple, and, Fangraphs WAR, like, that's just one stat. But that's the, dumb it down stat, like the all-around stat, that takes into account everything, base running, defense, offense. And he's not close to Arenado. He's like 2 wins off. Manny is point like 6 wins away from Goldschmidt, 0.9 away from Arenado, according to Fangraphs. I don't think so. He's still having a tremendous year, and the Braves are a playoff team, but I don't think so. Hawkeye asks, what pitchers do you feel don't like throwing to Campy? Yeah, Snell probably. Manaea, I would think, based on his last outing. Musgrove before Campy got called up. I think this is a good lesson, though. Like, okay, Musgrove, with his comments about Campy, he was kind of talking about how, hey, Campy, he seems more locked in and interested this year. He was saying something to that effect, I think, to Kevin Acee this week. I'm not quoting him. He said something to that effect about how Campy seems more interested this year. He's more engaged. He's asking the right questions. He's not just asking questions to ask questions. So if you invest time in Camposano and care, then I think Campy will care. So maybe if Snell and Manaea do invest more time with Campy, then maybe they'll like throwing to him more. Nola's the starting catcher, though. And I think Musgrove, he's obviously open to throwing to Campy. He was last start. I think he'll be open to it in the future. He probably prefers Nola, but I think that's probably more about just being comfortable with Nola right now. And Nola can't catch every game, so there's going to have to be times where some starters do throw to Campy. They just got to get comfortable with him. And they both sides, pitchers and catchers, they both need to, care about each other and care about that relationship and the game planning and spend time with each other, because it paid off last start for Musgrove. I like the optimism here from Luis. Padres will win 2 out of 3. Yeah, Omar, I've seen this brought up about the Dodgers. They played the Mets yesterday. They didn't have the day off. They traveled cross country, coming back home to Dodger Stadium tonight to play our Padres. I don't think that's going to have effect on them. Like, they're still going to get the same amount of sleep, right? It's not like they're crammed into Southwest airplanes, I'm sure players will say it has an effect, but the Dodgers, if they lose tonight, they're not going to use that as an excuse. And I don't think they should use it as an excuse. They're professional players. They should play better if they lose. Maybe it'll affect them, but I don't think that's not going to be a reasoning for why they lost, if that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. DVD Pash. Last series, Angel Alberto. I think he started a game. Went 2 for 3 is what you say. Yeah, look, their bench, it seems like their bench has always been deep. Doesn't matter what year. I mean, they have Trace Thompson, right? We gave him away. And guess what's happening? He's playing really, really well with them, right? Joey Gallo goes from the Yankees to the Dodgers. What happens? It's almost like he's back to the Texas Ranger Joey Gallo, Justin Turner, right? He was with the Mets, and I think he was DFA'd, and then the Dodgers picked him up. And now he's been starting for the Dodgers for years and years and years, right? Max Muncy was with the A's. I think they traded him or gave up on him. And Dodgers get Max Muncy. I know he's not playing great this year, but he's had a big impact on their team the last few years. Chris Taylor, I think he signed an extension this last offseason, if I remember correctly. He was with the Mariners. No one knew about him. Picked him up. Boom. I'd love to have Chris Taylor. Great utility guy. Could play the outfield. Could play anywhere, So, yeah. I don't know what it is about the Dodgers. Justin Turner was on MLB Network the other day. I think it was this past week, talking about how the Dodgers, they don't force their players to do certain things and, pregame stuff and cage stuff. They don't force their players to do things that those players don't think are going to help them in games, if that makes sense. Like, if Joey Gallo, let's say, Dodgers want him to take start with T-work or do front flips. Well, if he thinks I'm wasting my time, that's not going to help me in the game, please put the machine up and just throw me gas. Then they're going to do that. Just tailoring their coaching to the players, not making the players adapt to them, right? If that makes sense. Adapting to the players. That's what I've heard about the Dodgers stuff. Their coaching staff and their development, their tweaking of players when players arrive, stuff like that. Hawkeye says he's been waiting. I don't know if I think you're a guy, I would think. He's been waiting on a Padre Dodger brawl for 2+ years. Well, I know that Carlos Quentin, Zach Greinke one a long time ago. That's one that always pops into my head. With Vince Scully calling it just calm. Look, sure, would that be exciting? I guess. We'd all be talking about it, right? But I don't want Manny getting hurt. I don't want Soto getting hurt. I don't need Josh Hader getting hurt. I don't need Josh Bell getting hurt. I don't need anyone getting hurt. So I'd rather not have a Dodger-Padre brawl. But yeah, I guess for the fan entertainment, sure. Will it go viral on social media? Yeah, but I'll pass on that. I don't need guys getting hurt. And I'm sure the Dodgers don't want guys getting hurt either. I know their season is over in terms of like competitively playing for the NL West or something. They've already got that. They haven't won it officially, but they've already got that. They're just waiting for the postseason to come, essentially. Or unless they're trying to go for the regular season win record, I guess that's still in play. They're just trying to keep guys healthy for the postseason, and the Padres, they're trying to get in right now, and they need Manny and Soto and guys like that. So I'll take it. I'll pass on having a brawl. All right, I think that's going to do it. Serena's playing right now. Going to go watch that. Hopefully she doesn't lose. Won her first 2 rounds. Her last dance, shall we say, U.S. Open. So go watch that if you want to. There's some other games that are going to be on. Again, the Brewers are playing the Diamondbacks. Padres, Dodgers, 6:10's tomorrow. 7:10 tonight, Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. I'll have the clips, as always, at Talking Friars on Twitter. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. See you later. Go Padres. Enjoy the game.